Hey, I don't know if you've ever seen Mark Dice or his channel, but I highly recommend it. He's kind of a voice, I guess you'd say, kind of a liberal journalist. But then again, that would probably piss him off if you said that, because he would probably use the actual real definition versus the modern definition of liberal, which means so far out in left field that you're up in the cheap seats and no longer in the game. I would more consider him to be more like a voice of sane America. Watch out, he does have a loud voice. He speaks. He has an oratory voice, and he's quite direct whenever he speaks. But watch this interesting thing here, showing you the Democrats' new plan on how they're going to weasel in and somehow dethrone Trump. The links that they'll go to now that the Soviet collusion is all destroyed and they spent $35 million on that. Now they want to spend a lot more dollars on seeing something foolish that's already been dismissed generation after generation after generation. Let's look, shall we?
Party has mutated into the Socialist Party. The candidates running for president keep coming up with new programs and new groups of people that they want to give our money to. First, there's free health care for those who don't want to pay for insurance. Then it was free college for all the kids. Next, it was a $70,000 a year salary for those people who work at McDonald's. And
the Democrats, they seem to like to try to control the minimum wage and a few other things. They feel like by doing that, they keep the thumbs on the black population. But I think a lot of them are waking up. Yet, how can they keep them from straying away? Well, they're going to try to give them all free stuff. Watch their new plan.
Now we have a growing number of presidential candidates who have literally endorsed paying black people thousands of dollars a month in reparations because of slavery 150 years ago. No reason.
What's more than 150 years ago, and there's no reason that that would be a sane thing to even think. For why would you pay people that were never slaves, and why would the people that were never slavers do so? It was really 1.4% of the population. They have figured this out quite well. Were slave owners at the time, and quite a few of those were actually freed blacks. If you look into it, yeah, there were a lot of freed blacks, and they were a lot of slave owners and so on too, all the way through this type of thing. It originated from blacks who were slaving each other in Africa and sold their own kind off. Whites weren't running around with some giant net trying to catch people or anything. That's a farcical tale that's been shown in Roots, which of course has also been proven to be a plagiarized novel, and Alex Haley had to pay big time out in reparations to the people that he stole the whole story from, and it was a white author. But let's continue.
No politician has ever taken the idea seriously. It's always been a fringe pipe dream of just a handful of Democrats. But now it's becoming the core platform of their party. Here they are.
Yep. Here they are, making fools of themselves, trying to do anything they can do to grab back votes of minority and poverty people. It's kind of disgusting. Let's see what he says.
Meeting with Al Sharpton at his National Action Network conference.
Congress should convene a study on the best way to provide reparations.
If you elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk?
When I am elected president, I will sign it.
She's not going to be elected president. She's not even going to be a finalist in candidacy, really. I doubt seriously. And I don't think it would really matter at that point. But you can see it's Al Sharpton here trying to lead this idea. Of course, Sharpton's been in things ever since the 50s and stuff, whenever he showed that they made up a fake trial or whatever with that black girl and fake racist hate crime, the Jesse Smollett of its days, still carried on through to this time here. And then all they want is free stuff and free money. It's kind of disgusting, but let's continue.
The issue of reparations
It's ridiculous.
This is a conversation that is long overdue.
No, it's actually been spoken about just about every generation and been dismissed, even by a lot of blacks way back when. You know, Frederick Douglass type thing. It goes way back, and it's kind of disgusting to be brought up now. It's like, hey, give me a free ride because we can't quite make it in a spaceman's world, and that's not white people's fault. It's not in any way, shape, or form. They were recently primitives and illiterate, really, at that point, too. I mean, seriously, let's get honest here. And so to ask so much of them and to say equal is an odd thing. They said they were treated equal and so on. And, someone had a dream that one day all men would be equal. But we're at least treating them as such and trying not to have other ways. But no, I'm sorry. No, it is pushed their way. Even it goes their way. It goes affirmative action. It goes welfare. It goes NAACP when there can't be a white version of any of these type of things. But oh sure, now you want just freebie money.
So I want to let you know where I stand. I firmly support Congresswoman Jackson Lee's bill to create a commission to study reparations.
Now they want to create a bill to study reparations. They want to make a committee to do so. The last time that this group made a committee to do so, they just spent $35 million trying to impeach Trump over some Russian collusion BS that, hey, Mark's got a great take on that. Oh, well, actually, he has hundreds of takes on that through the whole debacle all the way through. And if you'll watch his earliest ones, he pegs it totally to a T. And the strange thing is, at the end of this, what we did find out through all that $35 million is that we need to spend more money and investigate the second side of this, in which Hillary Clinton's people, it seems like, were spying on the Trump campaign, colluding themselves and going into things that hasn't been seen since something like the Nixon impeachment. And it actually gets wildly disgusting when you start to look at the implications that are being put forth there. And by the man who's actually investigated against Trump himself, he says plainly, open in court. I wish I could just clip to it right now. Dice has got a great take on it too, where he just blatantly says, no, they're that he goes, they basically say you aren't saying that there was some type of spying or anything, were you? And he goes, no, no, they're spying. And then he just goes directly that way. So now we're going to talk to Chiefess Hiawatha Pocahantas here and see what she'll try to do to get anybody's favor back after her own debacle.
If you are elected president and such a bill was passed, would you sign the bill for reparations?
Yes, I would. I already support that bill. Go HR 4.
Go for a hug.
So far, surprisingly, Bernie Sanders does not support reparations.
Oh, no.
But I'm sure that he'll be coming around and changing his mind pretty soon. In fact, Julian Castro, one of the 18 morons hoping to get the Democrat nomination, is calling Bernie Sanders out for not supporting it.
You said that there needs to...
Well, who are some of these people? I mean, it's just like a flash in the pan. People come out and they just have an agenda they want to talk about. And some of them are just, I mean, it's a waste of a time, but it does try to spark an agenda. Let's look.
Be some kind of reparations to descendants of slaves to compensate for years of slavery and discrimination.
Oh man, how about those Irish? There were 6 times more Irish in slavery, so that's gotta come first, I guess, since they were the first slaves in America. And it's well documented in so much, and they were said that they were treated much more harshly than a lot of the blacks. It's also well documented too. Well, blacks, they were trying to keep them healthy and keep them going. If you lost one, you had lost all your endeavor. So, so I wonder if that's even on the board there, because it would have to come first because it was first. Unless you're saying, well, these people didn't make it good out of it, and the other ones can fly now. So what are we supposed to do about that? Well, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the slavery, and maybe it had to do with the stock of people that were before that they came out of. One was an illiterate primitive, and the other one were Englandish people that were being discriminated against off of Great Britain somewhat. And we've gotten over that, though, somewhat. So let's just continue.
Against African Americans in this country. Take a listen to Bernie Sanders, one of your campaign rivals, at a CNN town hall when it was pointed out that you and Elizabeth Warren support some form of reparations.
I can't wait.
What do they mean?
Look at Mark.
I'm not sure that anyone's very clear. What I've just said is that I think we must do everything that we can to address the massive level of disparity that exists in this country.
Now, disparity, that doesn't mean that we need to go off and give people stuff, though, and reparations are even on his mind in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of disparity on many colors. There are white people out on the streets and white poverty, too. It will not be ignored. Just because some white people are rich and a lot more white people are rich, there's 5 times as many white people. There should be more than 5 times as many rich white people in the way that they do things versus the way black things lead up over after a few generations to where one of them has assets and things that they have built up and accrued and the other one has not much. And it's because of their own behavior and by their own hands, and it will not be blamed on the other people, and the other people shouldn't pay for it because they didn't have that type of behavior. That's a foolish concept.
So what do you mean? Do you think that there should be actual monetary payments to descendants of slaves? Do you support more like what Senator Sanders is talking about, policies such as child care and education that help those who are disadvantaged?
Well, what I said was that
he has no idea.
That I've long believed that this country should address
no clue.
Slavery, the original sin of slavery, including by looking at reparations. And if I'm president, then I'm going to appoint a commissioner task force to determine the best way to do that.
This race has literally turned into a competition to see which one of these people can promise to give away more free stuff. Beto.
Yeah, that's what that is literally what it's becoming. And whenever we say, or whenever Mark tells you too, that they've gone so far out in left field that they're no longer in the game and they're up in the cheap seats watching the game and really no longer part of the game, but they want to feel like they are. It's because of their own actions in their desperate attempt now, which has pushed them over the edge to try to thwart Trump and his directions, which are middle-lined. They've put themselves so far out in the left that they're willing to offer the most incredibly stupid concepts that cannot fly, but yet they're going to try to fly on that. There's the people that can fly and went to space now, and it doesn't have anything to do with the problem that's being issued here for people to surmise.
Rourke was actually against reparations until just last month when a black man confronted him at one of his campaign stops, and then he changed his mind right on the spot, and now he supports them. This is a video that I posted 3 years ago at the end of 2015, where I told people that if Hillary Clinton becomes the president, that she promised to tax white people's income at a higher rate than other races to offset their white privilege and give that money to black people, and the liberals thought it was a great idea.
Now, hold on. Let me set up this premise for you. This is a little different. This is something special he used to do. Now he's almost too well known for it. But he used to go out on the streets or out to the beaches and stuff, L.A. and things, and would usually wear a shirt sometimes, which he's doing right now, contrasting, of course, common belief, but then go up and ask people blatantly questions. This is one of the special ones that he's done, where he actually even puts on his Valley Boy type accent here and tries to talk people if Hillary wanted to just give them money and things and how they would act and react to it, and just to see how they would act. I mean, he's gone up and done hundreds of these, well, not hundreds, but quite a few. He kind of became famous for it. A lot of people have made poignant points of it and stuff, and some have even mocked it. Jay Leno mocked it. He went around trying to show you people didn't know how to spell certain things. People didn't know where certain states were. People couldn't know where stuff was on a map, and then that's mocked over by Jay Leno, and people say that Mark Dice had done that type of thing first, and then they just took it to a new level there by having after possibly seen it. So anyhow, liberal on the left field, and it's amazing with all the other people going down that he just helps holding strong. I forget he's got a 1.4 million people that does his things, and his views off this one that just came out, so it doesn't even have a chance to hit everybody. 172,000 views on it already, and it hit me. And I look at them a lot of times. Sometimes I don't. I don't like looking at this type of crap. It's almost like I'd rather live in the ancient ages that I do videos about rather than the current, because wow, look at these idiots. I mean, it's just amazing. So you look back at things like Greek Senate and stuff, and you wonder why that shit was so cutthroat, and you look at what's going on now, and it's like, yeah. Okay, so watch him here. He's changed his voice totally, and in his shirt, and so let's see what they say.
Hillary Clinton has announced her plan to help kind of redistribute some money into the minority communities through the white privilege tax reorganization program. Do you think that's the right decision? Does Hillary have the right idea for the...
I mean, I trust in her. I trust in Bill when he was
nods.
In office.
Just nod.
And I'm pretty sure he's in her ear advising her what to do, so I trust it.
So the white privilege tax to help out with the minority communities is probably the right thing to do?
I think so. I think so.
Out in the communities, is there anything to do? And then just nod and look at it like,
Help redistribute some of the money into the minority communities.
Yeah, I think she should help redistribute into the minority community.
With the white privilege tax.
With the white privilege.
So the people are agreeing that you should take money away from white people who've done the correct thing to actually obtain some wealth and give it away to people who don't seem to do the right things to make wealth. Does that make any sense to anybody? Well, it does make sense to the people that he's talking to here. And then the next one is kind of poignant too, but let's continue.
Okay. We're just getting people's opinions on her program.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is Hillary Clinton's white privilege tax long overdue? Should we have implemented that many years ago?
Watch how confused.
The program is called white privilege tax?
The white privilege tax, just to help out with the income in the minority community.
He almost talks her into the idea, and you can tell she's kind of like, okay. And, oh, it looks like there's a camera on me, so maybe I'll say something politically correct. Let's continue.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Talking about white privilege in college, right?
Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Hillary Clinton has...
They teach you about white privilege in college. It's amazing. In a white country, the white spacemen, the white men do good. It's odd. It's odd that would happen, that most of the major countries that are doing well are Caucasian countries and some Asian countries. Then we have some third world countries that aren't doing too well, and then some that probably are on the edge of not even third world countries and trying to get there by billions of dollars of aid from Caucasians. But already, I don't know how much more reparation type things you can make. We made Liberia for them to go back to Africa, but they don't seem want to do that.
Announced the white privilege tax redistribution program. You think that's long overdue?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we should definitely be aware of what white privilege is, redistribute to the minorities.
Redistribute white people's income.
Absolutely agree, yes.
That's an agree.
Agree to redistribute white money to the minorities. So let's just take some of your bank account and we're just going to give it to the people who don't do nothing.
Okay, we're
Damn straight.
Just talking to Hillary fans to see if you support the white privilege tax on Caucasians.
Yeah, right on.
Following year, I asked a bunch of mentally enslaved morons if they thought it was a good idea to do basically the same thing by giving black people a tax cut just for being black. You think it was?
Is it just me, or is he somehow? I'll say this with good taste if I can. He's Harry Carey's illegitimate grandchild. And because of his brash, straightforward talking, he's not gonna. He's one of those guys that you could hear in the room if he was to speak aloud. I'm sure he has a nice, calm voice when he likes to speak so, but when he wishes to orate, he is a person who doesn't really need that mic.
About time for that equality measure to be put in place to give the black people a tax break.
I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
2 words. Black Lives Matter. Are you looking?
Oh my God. 2 words. Black Lives. Oh, affirmative action. Man, it got him to a beach in LA though. Okay.
Forward to saving some money on your income taxes, being a person of color?
Sure. Why not? I mean, it's been a lot of, we've had a lot of heartache in the past, and I'm not going back to
everything that happened, but
Do you think 10% is enough? A lot of people were suggesting that it should have been 20% tax break.
I think at this point, anything that's given is significant.
Good enough, at least.
Yeah, so they ought to get some help and stuff off of it. There's been so much help. There's welfare. There's all kinds of things. And then the people that do aren't getting extra help because they do. So you find, an opposition there. I'm sure this man's worked hard all of his life, but it's not like there's, blacks are 13% of the population. Don't tell me 13% of the Caucasian population, which is like 64, 66%, something right like that now, that, and it used to be like 85, so we've allowed a lot of immigrants in. Look at the problems we're having all of a sudden. Oh, big mistake. Look at Europe. Big mistake. But, so if we were to take the 13% reciprocal off of it and say, okay, boom, we have a same poverty type amount that you do. It shows up the amount of people. It's just a large percentage of the black population and a smaller percentage of the white population. And there's kind of reasons for that too, which really don't go into the effect of it only being a white country. It has to go, okay, so here's the white country, and you look at Africa and how it's dependent on everybody, and it got its technology and everything, let's be honest, from other countries. Therefore, what are we looking at here as far as a differential? And then equality can't be based on something like that. I mean, just to be honest and straightforward, I mean, I know it all sounds racist as hell whenever you just are blatantly honest about the facts and the way things broke down.
It's a start, you think?
Yes.
10%? Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
This is what liberals want to do to our country, and now they have the support of probably half of the Democrat candidates running for president. I mean, what's next? Are they going to claim that it's racist to have free thoughts? Oh, wait, what's this? A breakdown of why free thought actually translates to white thought.
Yeah, the root. I just did a video on the root, and that's basically their whole gearing too, is about a victimology thing. I think they're the ones that did the video, Why Are White Men Mad? And then he proceeds to show a bunch of things that black people are mad about that they call white privilege. It's kind of amazing and stuff, and yeah, it's all getting a little bit too disgusting.
Okay, that's enough for today. I gotta go, man. Subscribe to my...
Yeah, he's gotta go. Hey, he's got these cool t-shirts and stuff, and listen, I'm not a Mark Dice pimp, but then again, I am. This guy right here is just Mark Dice. You can go there, and he's also got a markdice.com, I believe, off in it, and he's got a PayPal type thing, and all these shirts that he's got, and a lot of them are real cool. Trump building a brick wall, Trump building this, Trump building that. He's got presidents that have hats on them and so on, MAGA hats and things, and more importantly than that, and in his merch, is what he brings is a common sense, straightforward aspect towards things. And I hope he doesn't mind me using his video, for it just pimps himself. Not many people watch mine, but if it can add a little bit to his, I don't mind a single bit at all. I see him as, somebody that's a voice of American reason, while everybody else seems to be just losing their freaking minds. Anyhow, like, share, and subscribe, guys, and enjoy. And again, visit Mark Dice. Check him out. Peace.